Namaste. Welcome to the fourth and final weekend of the 2020 Rasa Festival. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. My name is Sreyashi Dey, and it has been a great pleasure and honor to host renowned artists from the US, Canada, India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan this year. We are so grateful to each of our artists for sharing the beauty and depth of their art with all of us. As with the previous weekends so far, we have some fantastic performances in store for you today. Dr. Dheeman Bhattacharyya, an India-based theatre artist, dancer, and professor of comparative literature, has created a powerful and organic movement piece, especially for our festival. Our second act will be sublime classical music by two Kolkata, India-based artists. On the sarod will be Monit and brilliant tabla by Rohen Bose. We are excited to also feature an experimental work by them. I'll give my final performance for the festival, wrapping up the dance series I created based on my father, poet Bhattacharyya Dey's lyrics and vintage music from the 1950s. Sunita Shanker will present the final episode on her amazing fashion design creations based on India's traditional crafts. Ann Arbor-based poet Zilka will bring the day to a close with readings of her soulful poetry. We hope to see you tomorrow, the final day of our festival. As always, you will find the details of tomorrow's program on our website, rasafestival.org. Enjoy the show.
Facade is an experimental piece based on Tagore's paintings. Paintings came to Tagore at a very late stage in his life. This particular piece is interwoven with Baudelaire's poems. The idea is to experiment with the converging lines of the East and the West, where Baudelaire talks about a Janu's faced artist, a two-faced monster. Rabindranath probably talks about or discovers or tries to find Ananda in art. Art is beyond necessity. So even in our times of anxieties, we are creating art. Maybe a process of overcoming or negotiating with our anxieties. This experimental piece is based on Indian classical dance forms like Odissi, Mayurbhanj Chhau. It has been put to tune by Mr. Kamal Boral on violin and Mr. Monojit Mollik on pakhwaj and tabla. The technical support is by Mr. Roktim Nyogi. Facade, the many masks that we are used to. Facade.
Au blasphème de l'art, aux surprises fatales. La femme au corps divin, promettant le bonheur. Par le haut se termine un monstre bicéphale.
O blasphemy of art, fatal surprise, that exquisite body, that promise of delight at the top turns into a two-headed monster. How can there be laughter? How can there be pleasure when the whole world is burning? When you are in deep darkness, will you not ask for a lamp? Consider this body, a painted puppet with jointed limbs, sometimes suffering and covered with ulcers, full of imaginings, never permanent, forever changing. This body is decaying, a nest of diseases, a heap of corruption, bound to destruction, to dissolution. All life ends in death.
जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युर्ध्रुवं जन्ममृतस्य च तस्मादपरिहार्येथे न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युर्ध्रुवं जन्ममृतस्य च तस्मादपरिहार्येथे न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि.
Hello everyone, I am Rohen Bose and I am so glad that I have been featured in the Rasa Festival, Rasa Online Festival 2020, and I'm thankful to Sreyashi Dey for giving me this opportunity. As far as this track is concerned, we have been going through a very difficult time recently, and a very strange feeling and a very strange realization came to me, quite a few days ago, that the days have been very difficult, but if we sit outside, in a balcony and look up at the sky at night, it looks very different, and that sense of crisis that we have gone through all through the day doesn't come into our so-called active consciousness, at least for that moment. And I think it's something, it's a magic that lies within this domain called night or darkness. Next morning when you wake up, all the nightmares come back to you and you again start struggling. And from this thought, me and my beloved brother Monit, we both thought that why don't we play Rag Darbari, which is a midnight raga, with candles, candles as in symbolizing peace and serenity, in a particular space, giving a feeling of that serenity of the night and that stability of the night that night provides us, probably to all the artists and people who are attached to any form of art. So I hope you like it, and please do share and listen to us. It'll be a lot of pleasure, and I hope every one of you in America and all parts of the world are safe, and hope we meet to make music very soon. Thank you. Hello everyone, I am Rohen Bose and I'm super glad and super excited to be featured in the Rasa Festival or the Rasa Online Festival 2020, and I'm thankful to Sreyashi Dey, our very beloved Sreyashi Dey, for giving me this opportunity to produce something that is not particularly classical or traditional that I have been mostly doing in my musical career. It's been a very special feeling all the time when I've heard Beethoven, the great Ludwig van Beethoven, and I think it has been same for all of us all the time, and it's his 250th year. It was a very initial and a basic idea that I had in my mind to recreate his music in a very Indian stylization, or moreover, in the perfect terms, Indian Gaiki. I had approached to my beloved brother Monit, who is a student of my father and a brilliant sarod player, to just to ask that is it possible or not. And I'm extremely thankful to him that he has actually taken the initiative up and materialized this. We have made this music. This music is in a very interesting space because it talks about a Western philosophy, Indian setting or Indian dialect. So I don't know how to categorize things because I don't like to categorize things, whether be it music or whatever. So I wouldn't like to categorize it, but it's something very close to my heart. And as far as the dance is concerned, I had approached Ritu Sri Chaudhary, who is a very eminent Kathak dancer and a creative dancer, and she's been doing a lot of creative work for many years right now. It was a very blind approach to her that, this is what we are figuring out, and would you just like to try out something? And she came up with such a beautiful visualization. I hope you like it. The dance is specifically and particularly designed in the dark as a shadow dance, because we don't want to bring in human faces in this track or in the video. We want it to be very anonymous, because every human face brings in a certain sense of ethnicity, certain sense of a very deep sense of categorization within the human race, which we didn't want to bring in this video. So therefore we have kept it a shadow dance, and I really hope you like the track. Please do listen to it, please share, and your responses would be very, very accepted, appreciated. So we are all looking forward to it, and thank you so much once again.
Today, I present the final part of the three-part series of my new dance choreographies based on vintage songs written by my father, a renowned poet, lyricist, essayist, and columnist of Bengal, Bhattacharyya Dey. For the first time, I have danced to these gems of the Bengali modern songs genre, and it has been an honor and an absolute pleasure for me to pay my tribute to my father and his life's work through a medium that has been the passion of my life. Working on these songs with my father, reviving old memories, connecting over thousands of miles with him, discussing the meanings of the lyrics, the moods and feelings, and also arguing over interpretations and translations of the words into dance and movement, as well as the visual design, has been a creatively rich and rewarding process. It has been an unforgettable experience, and I feel very fortunate that I had the opportunity to offer this tribute to him and to share with all of you. I begin today with Shudhu Jole Likhe Naam. This song conveys a mood of deep anguish at unreciprocated love, though the poet writes that he gave it his all. It is as though he wrote his name in water which was neither visible nor lasting. He burned himself in the flame he lit to worship his deity of love in the temple of his heart. The playhouse he built in his dreams was washed away by the waves of the sea, leaving no trace on the shore. Was his love then like the wind, without any address, blowing over and vanishing into the horizon beyond? He would then rather leave in silence after paying his tribute to love. This song was sung by the queen of modern Bengali songs in that era, Sandhya Mukherjee, whose tonal pathos touched the listeners' hearts and became an instant hit, remembered and sung even now.
বছর তাই নীরব ভাষায় আজি বিদায় নিলাম বলো আমি কি পেলাম শুধু জলে লিখে নাম আমি চলে তো গেলাম তুমি কি দিলে আমায় আর আমি কি পেলাম বলো আমি কি পেলাম
I end with Shati Tara Dube Gelo, another well-known song written by my father Bhattacharyya Dey and sung by Shoilen Mukherjee. It describes a scene late at night when the poet is awake, deep in reflection, singing a song of separation from his beloved. He says, "The night and the world around are peacefully resting in the lap of sleep. So is the sky above. The amber-colored star named Shati has stopped twinkling and is about to set. The flowers in the garden and the birds on the branches of trees have all gone to rest long ago. But not me, not a wink of sleep in my eyes. Fondly longing for my love, I called out in vain. My voice echoes and rebounds in the silence of darkness and hopelessness. Yet, my story is still not over." Shati Tara Dube Gelo.
কামরাঙা ডালে রাঙা পাখি রাখি যে জড়িয়ে এলো তবু আমার কথাটি ফুরালো না তাপিত প্রাণ জুড়ালো না জুড়ালো না চেয়েছিল বুঝি পাষাণের দেবতারে দিয়েছিল ফুল কেঁদেছিল আঁকি ধারে তবু সে দেবতা কয়নি তো কোনো কথা ব্যথায় এসে সারা হলো তবু আমার কথাটি ফুরালো না তাপিত প্রাণ জুড়ালো না জুড়ালো না রাত নিঝুম শিউলি তলায় দুটি জাগরু কাঠি প্রিয় নাম ধরে আমায় গিয়েছে ডাকি তবু সেই মিতায় আসেনি তো একবারও শুধু নিরাশায় ছড়ালো তবু আমার কথাটি ফুরালো না তাপিত প্রাণ জুড়ালো না জুড়ালো
Hi, I'd like to talk about Katha, a craft that my work is closely associated with. On my numerous travels to the weaving clusters of West Bengal in mid-90s, I came across women working diligently on Katha embroidery. My curiosity took me to the clusters of Bholpur and 24 Parganas that were known for Katha. The quiet, understated, and subtle beauty of this embroidery caught my attention. Katha in Sanskrit means rag. It is an exemplary craft that reflects human ingenuity. The continuity and the rhythm of numerous running stitches that could transform an old discarded piece of cloth into a beautiful object was what actually attracted me to the craft. At present, when the world is laying emphasis on mindful consumption and designing and encouraging recycling and purposing and upcycling of old textiles, garments, and products to reinvent and remodel something new. This craft stands tall and firm. Katha actually originated from the need to recycle old dhotis and saris and textiles to create object of utility, be it floor covering, quilts, swaddles, or bags. As we all know it's practiced by women, and it can be easily said that it's women's art or women's craft. They've succeeded in creating a self-sustaining ecosystem. It is also recreational for them, as normally as works are done in the village. Women complete their daily chores of washing, cleaning, cooking, looking after children, also working in the fields. And then they sit down and work on the Katha embroideries, undeniably confirming the innate ability in a woman to organize and manage both her life as well as her work. So the craft actually can be practiced by women individually in the confinements of their home, or it can be done by women sitting together in group, as a social interaction and telling stories, tell tales, and sharing few laughters. It is to be noted that craft is not only a means of earning livelihood, it is also the social engagement that helps and leads in developing a community, which is so important. When I look at the fact that how my journey in this craft began, I don't mind relating that my numerous trips and over a period of time, I witnessed a quilt being made. It was layering and piling of old saris that were stitched together with small running stitches that were random, following a rhythm. Created a texture first, and then it was embroidered on it. Motifs were embroidered on it in colored threads. This one had motifs derived from nature, but one could also take on motives that were religious. And I realized that it was almost like an artist at work who was preparing his canvas to paint. This actually illustrated not only great skills of these women, but a very unique sense of creativity, which just stuck with me. And I thought that it just gave me many more ways and many more ideas to work with this craft. It just opened a whole lot of avenues for me, creative avenues of using the craft. So I used just the textured textiles to make garments and products. It was understated, but it just was beautiful. Then I would use motif, just single motif that would just enhance the whole design, uplift the design of a garment or a product. Placements of motifs that again lent itself so well to the textile and was very well balanced in design. Apart from this, I worked on it liberally with many designs running right across the product as well as clothing. It wasn't over the top or overbearing. It was just a well balanced design. It just lent itself very well to the textile. I think the craft actually succeeding in that constant engagement of mine with the craft helped me actually to explore, to reinvent, and to come up with a new vocabulary that was modern and I owed it to the versatility of the craft. It is the continuous engagement of the women who are working on Katha that has led to the success of the craft. And the flourishing of the craft has actually empowered many rural women. Hence, I'd like to end by saying that my ongoing journey in the craft sector is that of observing, learning, and understanding, apart from exploring and designing within the context and constraints of our craft.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my poetry reading. I'm Zilka Joseph. I'm a poet and teacher. I live in Ann Arbor and I teach workshops and I help people with their manuscripts as well as help people to work on their portfolios to get into MFA programs. And I work individually with clients and students to get their work or their books published. I want to say a very special thank you to Akshara Arts and to Sreyashi Dey for inviting me to be a part of this wonderful Rasa festival that she organizes every year. I'm honored to be a part of this and to be someone who also advocates for South Asian voices, as well as all voices that have been underrepresented in this country. I'm going to read mostly from my book Sharp Blue Search of Flame, and I'm going to dedicate this reading to my mother. Many of the poems in my book are dedicated to her, but some of these I don't always get to read during my public events. Some of the poems are quite emotional, and so I find them sometimes harder to read. But in today's reading, I want to choose a couple of poems that I rarely or have read or have not read at all in public. So I hope I have the courage to get through them. I grew up in Kolkata. I was born in Bombay, but I grew up in Kolkata, so my ties are very deep to that city. And I lost my mother in 2012 and then my father in 2014. They were really my anchors and my deep connection to India. So I have since then written a lot of poems about them and about loss as well as death and rebirth. So the poems I'm going to read for you are mainly clustered around stories or memories or images of my mother. So the first poem that I would like to share with you is called Where Sparrows Nest. So I've sort of chosen a cluster of poems that talk a little bit about my home in Kolkata and then individual experiences. This poem is called Where Sparrows Nest. Where sparrows nest above ceiling fans and in the cement ventilators, miners sing and screech all afternoon, like children practicing scales. Here within these sun-filled walls, my parents live. This red brick building was young once. Banyan saplings now thrive in its cracks. And inside, large rooms and high ceilings offer spiders a home. The mice find ways into the 3 refrigerator-turned cupboards and the oven stuffed with plastic bags and string. Bulbuls, sometimes a golden oriole, still visit the small medley of trees in the afternoon. Crows are the kings of the breezy veranda. The first poem I'm going to read for you is called Where Sparrows Nest. Where sparrows nest above ceiling fans and in cement ventilators, miners sing and screech all afternoon like children practicing scales. Here, within these sun-filled walls, my parents live. This red brick building was young once. Banyan saplings now thrive in its cracks, and inside, large rooms and high ceilings offer spiders a home. The mice find ways into the 3 refrigerator-turned cupboards and the oven stuffed with plastic bags and string. Bulbuls, sometimes a golden oriole, still visit the small medley of trees in the afternoon. Crows are the kings of the breezy veranda. conquering more territory every day, hiding their bloody treasures even under cushions, behind old books, the photo of Robert Redford, the tiger cub poster in my room. My parents keep those doors locked. They are Adam and Eve, aged now amid a forest they can't let go. A ragged Eden I never left, where teak furniture made long ago to order is strong, though the upholstery wore away and cotton sheets cover it now. It gets a fresh skin of soot every day. The walls have grown darker, but it's always bright in the late day sun, frailer than the dust motes, my parents. I'm already thinking of my next flight over the Atlantic, the Caspian Sea, the Arabian Desert, the Hindu Kush mountains, the holy Ganga, the rush up 2 flights of stairs, mumbling a quick Shema. Will I see their faces, feel their thin arms, sweet embraces, or find empty shells, a handful of dusty feathers? The next poem I'm going to read for you is also from my book Sharp Blue Search a Flame, and it's called The Hands That Lit the Shabbat Lamps. My mother's hands, what did they dream? Tough and weathered they are, heavy, thick, square, nailed, strong, did a lifetime of labor in a man's world, bore the weight of all our needs, the brunt of a mother-in-law's tongue. Dad's quick temper, how hard those pale hands slaved, tinted with turmeric, smelling of garlic, cilantro or cloves, cinnamon and butter on high holidays, and at night Bond's cold cream. For special times she wore nail polish, for silk sari evenings or gold jewelry events, Dad's official dinners, for weddings. The rougher her fingers grew, the more she slid into her shell, hiding her true heart. Just as her mother's had, even before the fourth, the unwanted daughter, my mother, was born. When did her palms turn to steel? Child given extra work, less education than her sisters, even less play. These hands, so old now, so brave, what did they dream? These hands that taught us how to light our own Shabbat lamps. When did they have soft skin? How wise these hands, webbed with cracks and curling early to fit inside my father's palms. Now arms weak, heads bowed, they both stand by the door, reach to touch the mezuzah, say Shema, kiss each other on the lips. Holding hands when they leave the house, she leads him, the half-blind head of the house, taking one shaky step at a time. Many of you know how much I love and write about animals and birds, and this poem reflects some of that. But in this poem, I also imagine my mother as part of this world of birds. As birds do. And the line is actually taken from Macbeth, where Macduff has been murdered and his youngest child is asking his mother, what shall we do? And she says, we will live as birds do. As birds do. I feed them now here on my deck, Ma. They know how to find food. The last flock of migrants flitted pale yellow. too quick for me to look. My thoughts dart to the nuthatch approaching my feet. With this scattering of seed, I coax them. Settle, please. Here, here. I have forgotten their ways, Ma. How to tilt my raptor body through the woods, burgundy eyes on target. Or was I a weaver bird, a weaver of leaf cradles, rocking high at the mercy of the wind? Or a downy, pecking out a home in bark? And could these bony feet have danced in marshes with the cranes? My wing beats slicing through November cold for thousands of miles as I called out to you. How will I know my way? Are we both hummingbirds, Ma, who crave summer's reprieve? Can our whirring hearts hold steady when we fear the fickle wind? Artists. And I'm going to end with a poem again about the death of my mother. It is a poem that I was hard to write and has been hard to read. So please bear with me while I read this poem to you. And it's called Dark, Bitter, Sweet. Mother, see, I make an altar for you, a table covered with dark chocolate you craved, Dove, Hershey's, Ghirardelli chocolates I carried for you over the continents and sea. How you would savor them piece by piece after lunch and after dinner and quietly when no one was looking and in between times. Suck on them while you lay in bed sleepless, reading the Telegraph and the Times, reading yellowed books that piled up with the medicines on your small bedside table, reading the same Reader's Digest over and over till you fell asleep at 1 or 2 a.m. For those lonely midnight snacks, you kept little chocolate hearts and kisses and squares in little ziplocks by your pillow. Chocolates half melted with a few hopeful ants wondering. Oh, this chocolate from far, far away by your bedside, mother. At least it thrilled your tongue for a moment. This time when I visited, I saw how ashen your face was, how deep the circles under your eyes. You told me you had stopped brushing your teeth. I have only a few anyway now, you said. Why should I care? You laughed when I told you the dentist would get scared if he looked into your mouth. And the only time you laughed this visit, mother, the only time I heard a broken chuckle like a cross between the gurgle of a hidden scream and a cough. Sweet chuckle I will hear over and over and over. Forgive me, mother, I had forgotten the sound of your laughter. I had forgotten how to make you laugh. Mother, every goodbye was a death. So why do I cry now that you've left? You whom I abandoned time and time again. Why do I rage against your leaving, rage against your not raging? Ruby, your maid and companion, held you gasped, soft hiccup, head falling upon your chest. Oh, sweet body I had bathed and clothed not 20 days ago, your shoulders slumping. Oh, darling shoulders that I bathed smooth Vaseline lotion upon but 20 days ago. Too late to save, too late to save, too late to say, too late, too late, too soon, too soon, too soon, too quick, your breath escaped. Mummy, under the chiffon chunni we draped around your head, I hid a handful of dark chocolates. Before the men with the cold eyes tending to the flames, the furnaces that beckoned, and we lifted you surrendered your body to the rows of fire teeth, the brick walls reflecting red, the shadow of torn roses upon your sleeping face. Your wrinkled face I washed but 20 days ago. The iron door clanged shut like a prison. These chocolates, mother, may they make you forget all pain. When I hid them, I saw you smile. Forgive me, mother, our small, selfish lives. Ma, I'll make an altar for you. Build a dark, bittersweet chocolate temple for you. Thank you so much for listening.